Hello, welcome to Spotlight on Cirrus. It is October 26, 2022. My name is Laura Higgs, and I'm pleased to have with us here on Spotlight Danielle Lewis, who is our new nurse practitioner here in town. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you.
It's very nice to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and we really appreciate the fact that you're in our community and already working. I saw you working at the hospital the other day. That's really great to see. We appreciate that. We need caregivers. We certainly need caregivers of all sorts, doctors, nurse practitioners, and nurses for sure, and healthcare aides as well. But tell me a little bit about your education to become a nurse practitioner.
So I took my 4-year Bachelor of Nursing degree at the University of Manitoba. And then to take the NP program, you have to work for 3 to 4 years, just depending on the program. I worked for 5. And then I went to the University of Saskatchewan. Their program worked well for me because you could attend class via Zoom. I didn't have to go there all the time.
Oh, that's
which
handy.
With a little kid, that worked great.
Oh, yeah.
And then I took so it was a 2 years master's degree in the nurse practitioner stream.
Okay, 2 years
Yep.
of your master's degree.
Yep.
On top of your 4-year education and 5 years experience.
Yes.
Okay, 2 years.
Yep.
Wow, that seemed quick.
It's a lot, but that's why you have to work for the 3 to 4 years first to really get a lot of those basic concepts. And because I worked mostly in a medicine, like acute medicine and emergency, that definitely made it easier for me than some of my colleagues who like worked in the NICU, for example, only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the specialty area you had. And actually, those are good areas to have to be able to be a nurse practitioner, isn't that right?
Yes.
Because those are some, like emergency, working with kids, can be scary. I've been a nurse for 40 years, and some of that can be intimidating and
Yeah.
scary. So
Yeah.
that you worked in that area, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always know you wanted to be a nurse practitioner, or did you?
So when I was young, I actually wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
But when I thought about taking a degree, most people take a science degree. You don't have a job at the end of that. So I thought I'll take a nursing degree, and then at the end of 4 years, I'll have a job in the field. And I just loved nursing. I love the holistic approach that comes behind it. And one of my professors was a nurse practitioner and really talked a lot about it. And I thought this might be a really good option for me.
Okay. So using the nursing to work and obviously get some income while you went on to other education, and then you
Yeah.
just turned your sights to nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's really good. We certainly need folks like you out there for sure. So as a nurse practitioner, where have you worked?
So as a nurse practitioner, my very first job as a graduate nurse practitioner was at Swan Lake First Nation Reserve. And then I had a mat leave, and then when I came back from mat leave, I actually had the opportunity to work at the first nurse practitioner-led model in Manitoba, in Swan Lake and Somerset, Manitoba.
Really?
So we did the hospital care, which was lower acuity. We had lots of awaiting placement. We also ran like a urgent care, quick care kind of set up as well, 6 days a week, and then clinic as well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you've had some great experiences for sure. Can you describe your scope as a nurse practitioner to your patients? How do you do that? Like,
Yeah, so
people want to know, what can you do for me, right?
Yeah,
That's what they
yeah.
ask.
The most common question I get is, can you prescribe my pills? And yes, I can.
Oh, good.
So how I describe it to people is I am not a doctor. I usually start by giving them my educational background and where I've worked as a nurse. And then I say, as far as clinical practice, so in the clinic, I can almost do everything the physicians can do. So I can order tests, I can do prescriptions, I can diagnose things, I can refer you to specialists. There's a couple of very specialized tests in Manitoba that I can't order, but there's very few.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm one of the nurse practitioners that does have admitting privileges to the hospital as well here in
Oh, is that
Cirrus.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that is handy.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody, like, if you're, say, on call, you take call, do you have a doctor on call that you get to call for backup or something, or how does that work?
Yeah, so right now the call that I do call to cover the inpatients, and I am so lucky to have Dr. Sopel and Dr. Cram, who have been so supportive and have kind of agreed that when I am on call, if something comes up that I don't feel comfortable with or super confident or have a question, I can call them, which is really appreciated. And I mean, specialists are always on call. There's someone
Right.
on call for specialists 24/7, so that's
Right.
always an option.
Sure, yeah. And I know there are some specialists that they don't have their practice in Brandon anymore. I think they're down urologists. So, but you'd still be calling Winnipeg anyway, right? So you'd
Yep.
access that if you needed
Yep.
somebody in a specialty area.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's great. Sounds like there's a lot you can do for the patients on the floor in emergency department.
So that's something that's kind of developing in Manitoba. Right now, nurse practitioners cannot run an emergency department, and they can't run an urgent care per se either, but they can contribute to that care. So for example, there is a nurse practitioner in Brandon emergency room now because she has some physician support. So it's kind of an evolving thing, and I'm
Okay.
hoping that I can help with that here in town
Yeah.
as well. But as of right now, emergency, no, but inpatients, yes, I can help with that.
Well, you know, that'd be great. I worked at the hospital here in Souris for 20 years, retired a couple years ago. I still pick up shifts, but, you know, there was times we felt that we were running that ER department.
Yeah.
You know, we had someone to call, yes, but for the most part, when things came up, we were handling it
Yeah.
by ourselves. So it's a big job and a lot of responsibility. And I'm sure the girls would be glad to have you there as support, and then you have the physicians behind you supporting you as well.
Yeah.
And not just our physicians in town, but like you say, specialists that you can access as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Boy, that's really good. Okay, that's really good. So you book appointments in the office
Yep.
as well as cover the inpatients and look after things at the hospital on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't take the weekend on call, but you can help the person who's on call.
I'm not doing that quite yet for Emerge, but I'm hoping that might be something we work toward
Yeah.
in the future too, yeah.
And coming from the places you came from, did you find Souris, okay, this is a smaller town and we're close to Brandon, but did you find it intimidating at all, or were you comfortable coming right in and getting to work? Is our department different than the ones you've worked in?
So it definitely was a little bit intimidating coming from somewhere where it's all nurse practitioners and we all practice very similar. Working with two physicians who I don't really know that well and practice a little differently, but they have been excellent and nothing but supportive.
Oh, that's good.
So yes, I was a little nervous to start, but it's been really good. And the hospital piece, it is more acuity than I've had in my previous job, but again, the physicians have been so supportive that most of my unease has been settled
Taken
pretty
care of.
quickly.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah,
That's lovely.
and I mean the nurses in service are fantastic too. So
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of friends still work there. And some of the new girls coming on board are very well educated and certainly very confident. Do you live in town then?
no, I actually live closer to Minto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we do have a great community, and welcome here to Souris. We're so glad to have you, and I hope that everything goes well for you in the future.
Yeah, it's been really great. The community has been so welcoming, and I look forward to working here,
Yeah.
hopefully for many, many
Yeah.
years.
Well, there's lots to do in Souris, just so you know.
Yes.
There's lots and lots of things to do, whether it's touristy or whether it's just being attached to a community group that you can volunteer with or events that you can attend. There's lots to do. So welcome here. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Spotlight in Souris. I hope you have a great day.